Greetings, brothers and sisters, Bartek here. Welcome to Gamesquisition, where anything gaming goes. Today, we're starting off a new Let's Play series for Crying Suns. In a nutshell, Crying Suns is a tactical space roguelite, where you traverse a mysteriously fallen empire aboard a big cruiser ship and you try to uncover the story behind the empire's downfall. Now, I've heard this game be compared to FTL for various reasons, but to me, the main difference and the thing that makes this game stand out from FTL is actually the story, which is quite deep, quite immersive, and quite well written. So, without further ado, guys, let's jump into the gameplay. Just a kind reminder for you to please like, comment, subscribe, and ding the notification bell to get notified about future episodes of Crying Suns here on Gamesquisition. Alright, let's go. Where am I? A dwarf planet on the Outer Rim. Most call it Gehenna, if they call it anything at all. This Admiral is a top-secret cloning facility for the Imperial forces, the one and only of its kind. I am Caliban, its Omni Guardian. I don't understand. You have died, Admiral, or to put it in another way, the true version of you has died. You are his clone, identical to the original Ellis Idaho in every possible way, with some minor differences. When did Admiral Idaho die, and how? Unfortunately, I do not know the details of my clones' lives, as interesting as they might be. Extraneous to my directives, I believe. Which leads me to why I've awoken you. You must be curious after all. I need your help. A machine asking for my help. Now I truly feel strange. Not just a machine, Admiral, an Omni, short for Omni-Mechanical Neo-N Intelligence. Emperor Oberyn invented us. Now, your kind relies on us for just about everything. I'll come right out with it. I'll believe the Empire is in danger. In danger? What in the name of Oberyn are you talking about? Once every 4 years, under the most secretive of protocols, I receive a single transmission from Elysium, our capital. Those transmissions stopped arriving. So you send a transmission yourself? I don't see the problem. That's just it. I can't. This facility was built in such a way to prevent it from initializing contact with the Empire to help keep it a secret. Something is wrong. I am certain of it. And I've awoken you so that we can fly out of here in an Omega-class battleship no less and see for ourselves. We? I believe you'll find my intelligence indispensable for our mission, Admiral. I don't have your kind's limitations. Well, if you're so smart, what do you need me for? Why don't you command the battleship? Because of Oberyn's Rubicon. It prohibits Omnis from commanding battleships. War is a human prerogative. Also, since I can assume the clones here are the best of the best, that would make you the best Imperial Admiral to ever exist. I'd say you're perfect for the job. I'll do it, machine, for Oberyn and the Empire. It's my duty as an Imperial Admiral. Excellent. Now, just one more thing. Standard operating procedure requires I ask, can you recall any of your emotional memories? Emotional memories? Any memory linked to a strong emotion like love or hate. These memories, because of their complex neural pathways, will be a bit trickier for you to access, I'm afraid. I'm not sure. Then if you would do me the honor of trying to recall one. Any emotional memory will do. I can't. So much is blurred, broken apart. Don't worry, Admiral, perfectly normal for this stage. You'll find rational memories, on the other hand, those linked to Idaho's training and combat experience, almost immediately accessible. Just ask if you need a refresher. Lastly, and this is important, if these emotional memories return, rather when they return, you must tell me immediately. It's important for your safety. Yes, your safety. Do you understand? I understand. Perfect. Now, let's wake up the rest of the crew, shall we? We don't have a moment to waste, and please, Admiral. What is it now, machine? Call me Caliban. Alright, guys. Welcome to select Battleship Class. There are various Battleship classes, but for now we only have the Excelsior class available, which sounds really awesome. We can't upgrade anything just yet. We will be able to upgrade it in future stages of the game. Now, we are actually going to choose the easy difficulty. Let me explain why. Now, there's a good reason for it. This game is actually very challenging even on the normal difficulty. Now, because there is a good story behind it, I want you to have fun, and I want to have fun playing it, and I want us to discover the story and focus on that, with the gameplay elements, of course, but I don't really feel like wiping over and over again, and I don't really want to see me do that. So yeah, just for the fluidity of the gameplay, let's choose the easy difficulty. And next, we have to choose 2 officers that are going to be aboard the Excelsior with us from the very beginning. We have 2 soldiers and 2 scientists. These soldiers and scientists each have skills which will come in handy later down the line. Let's see, this one has hull repair, this has weapon reload time. Oh yeah, definitely gonna choose this one. Now, I'm acting like I know what I'm doing, but I'm actually not. Because I did play this game for like 20 minutes to get my bearings and get all the settings in place, but I haven't progressed far. So I just know the core very basics of the mechanics end of the game. And I know that weapons reload time is a good perk to have. So we're gonna choose you, Miss Advic Oliveira, or Mr. Advic Oliveira, and let's take this person because of their ability to repair units in close proximity to the mothership. Alright, let's get rolling. Off into the cosmos we go. These are the sectors of the Outer Rim, Admiral, the farthest sectors from the capital that there are. If there was ever a wasteland in the Empire, this would be it. Strange, I'm not picking up other Omnis. Even out here I should be picking up dozens of them. Let's try not to overreact, machine. It's probably nothing. The Empire has run flawlessly for how many years now? 700. And it will do so for hundreds more. Now, come on, let's take a look around. What do we have here, Lieutenant? It appears to be some kind of cube-like refinery, sir. It's a Neo-N hypercube, Omnitech, for the simultaneous harvesting and refining of neutrinium from nearby stars. Interesting, if not downright bizarre. This cube isn't connected to the FoldNet. How could that be? And why aren't there hypercube Omnis trying to reconnect it as I speak? We're gonna do some clicking around, guys, so that we get some lore into this gameplay and we know what's going on. So we're gonna ask for explanations. Certain things are still blurry to me, machine. What do you want to know, Admiral? Let's ask first about the Neo-N. Tell me about the Neo-N. Hundreds of years ago, pre-Omni times, the first advanced machines discovered the existence of the final element, neutrinium, which exists usually, but not always, in stars. Neotrinium is extremely volatile in its natural state, but these advanced machines stabilized and improved upon it, providing the most powerful and longest-lasting energy source yet. Neotrinium, or Neo-N. That's much better, Neo-N. Let's keep it at that. Neo-N, in turn, allowed these first machines to create an even more advanced machine, the Omni, an acronym for Omni-Mechanical Neo-N Intelligence. But I thought you told me Oberyn invented the Omnis. I did, you're absolutely right, but technically, it's not entirely true. Oberyn invented the first advanced machines, which in turn, thanks in part to the creation of Neo-N, invented the Omnis. Neo-N, in its refined state, is a perfect energy source, stable and almost boundless in its energy yield. As a result, it's used in just about all Omni-techs, as humans stopped inventing tech hundreds of years ago. Lastly, what's important about Neo-N is that our very own battleship, the NS Odysseus, uses it. And without it, we can't go anywhere. What do you want to know, Admiral? Yeah, let's ask about the FoldNet. Tell me more about the FoldNet. As you probably recall by now, Admiral, the Omnis have invented and managed Imperial tech more or less since the dawn of the Empire. The FoldNet, arguably our greatest achievement, forms the backbone of the Empire. Think of it as a global galactic network allowing instant data and/or matter transmissions through its numerous interconnected folders and beacons. And without the constant vigilance and management of FoldNet Omnis, none of it would be possible and humanity would live in a fragmented, chaotic darkness. Needless to say, it's important. Okay, let's just ask about the folders and the beacons to get the full picture. Folders? Let me see if I can explain this to you in a way that you could possibly understand. In the early days of the Empire, at a speed of 100 times that of light speed, the interstice offered the fastest travel available. It was fast, don't get me wrong, but traveling from cluster to cluster could still take decades. To assist Empire administration, and just because we could, the Omnis invented a means to travel from 2 points in space simultaneously. The folders. Yes, each folder, several kilometers across, is linked or paired with another folder through a process of... This is going to be really difficult to explain to a non-quantum computing entity. Essentially, all you need to know is that these paired folders collapse or fold space for a very brief moment of time so as to join 2 points in space previously unjoined. Without the folders, Oberyn could never have grown his empire, nor kept it together for the 700 years that he has. Each folder is run by an Omni. These Omnis are cleverly known as folder Omnis. Without them, the folders simply cannot work. Lastly, in order to reach Elysium, the Empire's capital, on our journey, we will have to use several folders. But why can't we just teleport to Elysium directly? We are deep in the Outer Rim. The few folders paired with the Elysium will be found only in very important hubs. We'll need to reach those first. What do you want to know, Admiral? And let's ask about the interstice. The interstice? The interstice is another Omni-invented tech, one of the first great inventions, and one developed long before the folders. With their interstitial tech, the Omnis created an empty space dimension between the ones you know, what we call a tunnel, where the universal light speed behaves, let's say, differently. In an interstitial tunnel, it's possible to reach up to 100 times the speed of light, a speed that allowed your kind to colonize the nearest stars. However, interstitial travel still has its limitations. For example, at this speed it would take you 750 years to travel from one end of the Empire to the other, a period of time greater than the age of the Empire itself, hence the need for folders. However, the interstice is sufficient when traveling intra-cluster and within that cluster's sectors. Okay, we found out everything we could. We have no more questions for now. Let's press on. That's enough for now. What do you want to know about the Hypercube, Admiral? We want to send a small team to investigate the cube. Captain Lynch, form a small squadron, fly around the cube and tell me what you see. On it, sir. Sir, the Omni was right, the cube isn't connected to the FoldNet. And, by the looks of it, hasn't been connected in years. Just a guess here, but I'd say it looks like it's been disconnected for maybe 10, 15 years? 10 or 15 years? At least, sir. Could the Empire have, I don't know, disconnected it on purpose? I don't think so, Admiral. I'm not a cube Omni myself, but the cubes are complex tech needing constant supervision. Disconnecting it would make that all but impossible. And the Neo-N levels? Empty, sir. There's no Neo-N here whatsoever. Looks like whoever came before us took all of it. We won't be refueling here. The reserves might be empty, but there could still be some residual Neo-N coursing through the cube. I should be able to unlock this final restraint so that we can scavenge the leftovers. It won't be much, but it will help with our efforts. There, we should be able to scavenge Neo-N fuel here now, but that'll be the last of it in this cube. All suns have a Neo-N cube where you can have a chance to scavenge some precious leftover fuel. Let's do just that. Let's scavenge this Neo-N. We recovered one Neo-N fuel, which we will need to traverse the star map. Okay. Fantastic. Let's go to the local star map, and here we are, as you can see, we are in the Tetra B system, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that we can do here. We've, well, already collected the Neo-N from the cube, and next in line is an unidentified sector. And here we go, sir. Battleship, 12 o'clock. What kind of a battleship, Lieutenant? Couldn't say, sir. I've never seen a ship like this in all my service. Incoming transmission. An Imperial battleship made from Telos tech. My mouth is watering. This is Admiral Idaho of the Imperial Fleet. Stand down, Captain. This is an Imperial sector you find yourself in. Imperial sector? That's funny, imp. The battle is imminent. Good luck, Lieutenant. Or actually, Admiral. You can deploy your officers during flight. Some officers have special abilities that you can boost specific systems. All officers also repair critical effects sustained by any systems. There are 3 systems: squadron, weapon, and hull, so be careful where you deploy your officers. Squadrons are essential to protect your battleship and destroy the enemy. To deploy your squadron, click on the plus signal on an empty dock. For now, your second dock will be closed before we cover the basics. Then you can use your weapon to gain decisive advantage on the battlefield. Weapons can be deployed by clicking the plus on an empty dock. Your neurocom can also accelerate your thoughts to a point where time appears totally still. In essence, this is pause, during which we can issue orders. We are currently in the tactical pause phase, and we are always on the bottom of the screen. The enemy is always on top of the screen. And as the game said, there are weapons, squadrons, and the hull. We're going to start with relocating our officers. And here is where these special abilities of theirs come into play. They have a weapons reload time. They accelerate it by 15%. So we are going to put it actually in here, so that the cooldown between the shots of the main weapon of the ship is lower, and we're gonna put the scientist here that has a proximity repair bonus into the squadrons. Okay, first we're gonna have to choose the default weapon that we have. We only have the Pierce laser mark, and there's an impact zone here, guys, to the right. This actually shows you how the weapon hits. This weapon hits in one precise spot. Others have a bigger scatter. That means you can hit larger areas with it, but we'll get to that later on. We're gonna equip this Piercer Laser Mark 1. And we are going to choose, well, one of 3 types of aircraft that are housed in the Excelsior. We have at our disposal fighters, drones, and frigates. Right out the gate, one of the drones is patched. That means it's, well, at maximum half health for some reason. Now, this game contains a paper, rock, scissors mechanic, as you can see. The fighters do huge bonus damage versus drones. The drones are great against frigates, and frigates are awesome against, fighters. So we don't really know what aircraft we're going to put out, because we don't know which aircraft the enemy is going to put out. So for now, let's just wait and see. Okay, we see that he's going to put out drones over here. Since he's going to put out drones, our best option to fight drones is a fighter that has bonus damage against drones. Just going to unpause that. Here are the drones. Here are our fighters. We're going to engage these. And I also want to point your attention right here. We can't we can't fire the main ship weapon until the cooldown has reached 0. Now, luckily, this enemy ship appears to have no weapon, so we're only going to have to deal with the squadrons, with the drones and fighters and frigates that he can launch, while we can blast away our weapon, trying to take down their hull. They have a hull HP of 28. We, on the other hand, have 140. But hey, it's the first enemy. Trust me, it gets more difficult later on. So our fighters are engaging the drones, and because they are superior versus this type of unit, they have no problem with dispensing these drones. Now, our main weapon is on cooldown. Your weapon has finished charging and it's ready to fire. Click on it and choose a target on the battlefield to deal damage to your enemies. We are going to choose this weapon, and we can pinpoint, surgically strike against the weapons, the squadrons, or the hull. If we strike against the squadrons or the weapons, we have a chance of damaging them, which will increase the cooldown of weapons or the squadrons. Now, because this ship has no weapons, we're gonna aim for the squadrons. Blam. Okay. And again, now we're waiting for our main weapon to cool down. We can move our fighters here. As you can see, because we shot the squadron section of the enemy ship, there is kind of like a damage meter right here where I'm pointing at on the screen, and they can't send out extra units until that damage has been repaired. We can also directly attack the enemy ship with our little units. Great job, Admiral. Here's a summary of the battle. We received 58 scrap, which is in-game currency. Ding. Excellent. What was that thing? I don't know, Lieutenant, and I'm not sure I want to either. And just like that, we've cleared out another part of this system. We are now traveling to Gradeth Alpha, which apparently is a station. Let's see what we can find there. An Imperial Outpost, sir. It seems abandoned. Any heat signatures? Not a single one. Seems empty of all human life. What about an Omni presence? They should be here managing the station, no? They should, and no, I'm not detecting any. This is getting stranger and stranger. Let's get some background here on this outpost. Seems to be just your run-of-the-mill Imperial Outpost, Admiral. There are outposts in all Imperial sectors. With the capital, Elysium, so far away, they help keep the peace and maintain order. You must show your military might so that you don't have to use it, I believe, is the thinking. But there's definitely no military might here. What do you want to do about this outpost, Admiral? We can try to make contact, or we can send a team of commandos into the outpost for a closer look. Well, I've seen enough, sci-fi movies to know that we should probably attempt contact first before we put boots on the ground. Lieutenant, see if you can make contact with someone, human or not, inside. Of course, Admiral. Sorry, sir. If there's anyone inside, they're not answering. Okay, so now, because there is no answer, we're going to send a team of commandos. Captain Lean, form a small team and check it out. You got it, sir. Sir, the outpost is empty. Seems it was abandoned years ago. If I had to guess, probably around the time the hypercube back there was disconnected from the foldnet. Looks like someone came here, took took the most valuable Omni parts, Neo-N encapsulators, positronic chips, and left the rest behind. Scavenging Omni parts? Who would do such a thing? That's a capital offense. One the Pragma executes for. Excuse me. Hold on, sir. I'm getting a transmission. My commandos have found something. It's an Omni, intact from top to bottom. Is it functional? That's a negative, sir. It was in a lower level. Guess whoever was here before us didn't go down that far. Might have needed high clearance to get in. Admiral, I can examine it from here if the captain plugs the datapad into the exosoc. Sure thing, Omni. Okay, accessing the Omni's mainframe. Mainframe. That's a classic. And? Strange. Its exoframe is perfectly intact. It has plenty of Neo-N, and its positronic chip seems to be in place. It should be up and running. I don't get it. Any idea when it was shut down? According to its chip, 20 years ago. Roughly the same time the Hypercube was unlinked from the FoldNet. Let's get some more lore in, guys. Can you reactivate the Omni, Caliban? Unfortunately, no. Only Omni owners can do that. Besides, this Omni isn't just in deep sleep mode. It's been shut down. The positronic chip? Another Omni invention, I'm guessing? Actually, no. Your kind invented this, as incredible as that is, specifically Emperor Oberyn. The positronic chip serves federal purposes. 1, it contains the Rubicon, and 2, it dictates Omni functionality. My functions are specific to Gehenna, and as such, are different from the functions of other Omnis, whether they be Imperial Outpost Omnis, like the Omni here, Folder Omnis, Cube Omnis, Medical Omnis, Teacher Omnis, or the hundreds of other kinds of Omnis that exist in the Empire. Lastly, the positronic chip gives Omnis quantum computing capabilities. It's what allows us to be so much smarter than you. Positronic chips are produced and distributed near Elysium. Of course, that's by design so that Oberyn can closely monitor the positronic quota. Simply put, without a positronic chip, an Omni is little more than its exoframe. Let's ask about the quotas. Yeah, so as to maintain perpetual harmony in the Empire, Oberyn created a quota. Depending on your house and whether it's a minor or major, you receive a certain number of chips every 10 years. Who received the most chips? House Tellus, of course. Oberyn's house. Our house. And the fewest? One of the minor houses, Vicarelli. They have a pitiful quota. Embarrassing, really. I'd hate to be a Vicarelli Omni. Alright, and let's ask about the Rubicon, which they mentioned. The Rubicon is a set of rules enforced at a very low level, ensuring that Omnis don't harm humans and don't deviate from their missions. Suppose an Omni disobeyed its Rubicon, what would happen then? Well, that's quite rare, but unfortunately there are examples of this occurring in the early days. But if that happens, then the chip would deactivate and trigger a self-termination feature in the Omni. Omni suicide? It's just a feature, Admiral. A rarely activated feature. Alright, no more questions for now. It could be a good time to take a break, I agree. What do you want to do about this outpost, Admiral? We can't do much more. We can go back into a Q&A with Caliban, but we're going to continue on. Okay, machine, I'll admit it, something is wrong, at least in the Outer Rim. I don't want to further worry you, but our battleship's heuristics are detecting an anomaly at our next destination. Let's go and check out that anomaly, guys. And what an anomaly is in this game, anomaly signals are the riskiest events that we'll encounter, offering very positive or very negative outcomes. You won't know which type it is until arriving at the signal's source. So it's kind of a dice roll here. We don't really know what we're going to encounter. In this case, is it good or bad? It's one of those creatures again, sir. Maybe this one will be friendly. Nice ship you got there. I'm going to enjoy scrapping it over your dead bodies. Well, we have the answer. It's not positive. We're going to have to do battle again, but yeah, you're going down. whatever you are. Let's fight. Again, probably going to be an easy fight because, you know, second fight in the game. Each basic squadron type, frigates, drones, and fighters, is best suited to fight against a particular squadron. Yeah, paper, rock, scissors, that's what I told you before, guys. We are in tactical pause. We see that the enemy is getting a fighter ready. We don't want a fighter. We want something that is good against fighters, and a frigate is good against fighters, so we're going to deploy that. We have our weapon ready. We're going to unpause the game, let these charge. There we go. Going to send our frigates against the fighters. Wait for our main weapon to cool down in the meantime. There we go. Engage the enemy, guys. All right. We're going to send our frigates to attack the enemy ship directly. At the same time, we are gearing cooldown on our main weapon. Let's blast away at the hull. There we go. And here we go. Easy victory. And we actually got a reward this time. We got a new fighter in our hangar, growing our fleet of attack aircraft, which is indispensable to get further into the game. Though we had yet another brush with death, at least our scanner detected the anomaly this time. Tell me more about these anomalies. Well, they are destinations with a higher than normal probability of being very negative or very positive. Unfortunately, we don't know what kind of outcome to expect until we arrive at the source's signal. You could say investigating anomaly signals is a bit of a gamble. It is indeed. Come on, there's got to be someone around here who can tell us what's going on. Fantastic. Let's press on, and planetary defense turret wreckage on Yulunga 2. There would appear to be a small colony on this planet, Admiral. Maybe we can finally get some answers. I'm also detecting a ground signal roughly 1,000 kilometers from the colony. Could be worth investigating with an expedition. Hello, is anyone out there? This is Admiral Ellis Idaho of the Imperial Fleet. I am Tygan Bowie, leader of my small colony. What can we do for you, Admiral? If it's scrap you're looking for, I'm sorry, but we have none to spare. Scrap? We're here to find out what's going on in these sectors. I don't understand. We've yet to encounter a single active Omni, and 2 enemy battleships have engaged us. Is this some kind of a sick joke, Admiral? The Omnis shut down. Impossible. The Omnis shut down in our sectors, and when they did, so did all of their tech. It can't run without them. How and when? I have no idea how it happened. I'm not sure even Oberyn does. It's truly the great mystery of our time. As for the when, 20 years ago. We relied on them for everything, food, medicine, weather. It's hard to give accurate numbers, but maybe 75% of the population here died in the first 5 years alone. Now, who knows how many of us are left? 10%? Less? Bowie. Is that a hat tip to the Man Who Fell from the Sky movie? Alright, let's learn more about the scrap, guys. Well, now that the Omnis have been inactive for so long, Imperial Sol, the former currency, no longer holds value of any sort. The only thing that does is scrap remnants of Omnitech, its metals, ship materials, and Neo-N, our energy source. As Omnitech becomes scarcer and scarcer, which it has over the last 20 years, its value has appreciated, causing people to act in increasingly desperate and violent ways to get it. That's why scrappers want to destroy your ship so much. It's so that they can collect its broken down parts and sell them, just so that they can prolong their miserable lives. But it's not just the scrappers and the pirates who desire this stuff. It's just that most of us common folk aren't willing to kill for it, at least not yet. Is there something else you want to know, Admiral? Can we do anything for your planet? Defeating the scrappers would be a nice start. Things would look a whole lot better with those scum out of the way. Scrappers? Don't tell me you don't know about them either. It's like you've been living this entire time on an uninhabited planet on the edges of the Outer Rim. The Scrappers are a group of hideous, irradiated scavengers who collect leftover Omnitech and Neo-N. When the Omnis shut down, causing the fold net to collapse in our sectors, they were the ones who took over in the chaos. They're not the only rotten apples around here with your pirates, and you're okay with... Excuse me, they're not the only rotten apples around here with your pirates and your occasional crazy civilian, but they're definitely the worst. They defeated the Imperial ships? How? Telos tech is second to none. Imperial captains are trained at the Academy. True, but the Scrapper battleship wore them down. Picked off, one here, another there. It was a war of attrition. Plus, the Empire couldn't send reinforcements, not with the folders down, you see. I hate to say it, but I think it's just a matter of time before they make slaves of us all. But even if you beat them, even if you beat Mother, it won't change anything. The way we're going, 10, 15 years from now, with all the hardships we're experiencing, will be gone. All of us. Unless you somehow reactivate the Omnis, turn them back again. Turn them back on again. The ones that haven't been scavenged for their parts, that is. That's the only way to save us. Is there anything else? Yeah. How can we turn on the Omnis? You're asking the wrong guy, I'm afraid. As I said, no one knows who or what shut them down. You'll have to solve that mystery on your own. And once you do, you'll still have to find a way to turn them back on, which might be another thing altogether. But where should we start? I hate to say it, but Mother is probably your best bet. She benefited the most from them shutting down in this cluster, didn't she? Then again, there are lots of theories out there about who or what is responsible for this. Is there something else you want to know? Yeah, Mother, what the You really don't want to know, Admiral. For some reason, that's why they call her their leader. Mother, Mom, Mommy. It's all very upsetting. From what I gather, she was the one that started the Scrappers, fostering a punk nihilistic scavenging philosophy among their sordid ranks. And who makes up her ranks? Former Imperial prisoners, I think. The worst of the worst. When the Omnis shut down, the prisoners escaped from their Omni-run prisons and psychiatric stations. Mother loves her tech, especially House Telos tech, like the battleship you have. And she and the Boyles who work for her will kill you for it and enjoy doing it too. She's been terrorizing these sectors for years now, enslaving men and women to bolster her numbers and make them into her playthings and baby makers, as she calls them. You don't want to know who they are. But since you asked, the playthings are Mother's sex slaves, and the baby makers are, what she uses to make babies. Make babies? Scrappers often die young from their exposure to Neo-N, as they should. Thank Oberyn for that. Mother uses her baby makers to keep the Scrappers' numbers growing. She supposedly has breeding stations spread throughout these sectors. Frankly, I can't imagine a worse place. We'll do everything we can to stop these monsters. You have my word. Not at this moment, Bowie. Thank you so much. Fall back to that planet over there. I don't blame you. It's not exactly for the faint of heart. No, let's end our conversation for now. I promise, in the name of Oberyn, we'll take care of these Scrappers and get your ships. And get your Omnis up and running again. You say that, Admiral, but you'll fail, or you'll stop trying sooner or later, or worse yet, you'll die. But take this Neo-N, Admiral. We have plenty at the moment. I have a feeling that you'll need it. And like I said, I know it's not the bravest thing to do, but it's best if you hide. You'll live longer that way. We received 5 Neo-N. Very nice. End of transmission, sir. Do you believe what he said, Admiral? Unfortunately, yes, it explains everything we've seen so far. The Omnis shut down in the Outer Rim, and so did their tech, including the clusters folder. That's why those Scrappers now run things here. So what do we do now, sir? First thing we need to do is to find this Mother, As Bowie said, if she didn't shut down the Omnis down, chances are she knows who or what did. If you want to move on, Admiral, open the star map below by clicking on it and choose our next system. Otherwise, you might want to stay and check out this ground signal I was telling you about. Could be a good opportunity to gather some resources and put our commandos to use. And we're gonna do just that, guys. We're gonna go and send an expedition planet side. Now that you've learned the basics, your second dock has been unlocked. Remember to make good use of it. Of course, I will try to do my best. Now you can access the expedition dashboard here. We are going to prepare the mission, the minimal requirements for which is 3 commandos. We have a total of 12 commandos right here, upper right-hand corner. We're going to scan the planet to find things of worth on the surface, and there are artifacts and no major threats, which is ideal. Ground distress signal, 1 retreat chances. That means in our expedition we're going to get 1 chance to retreat, but this is the number of commandos sent to the expedition. Minimal requirements for commandos is 3. The maximum number of commandos will be sent, up to 10, if you have enough of them. The more you send, the better your chances of success. Okay, and okay, we're gonna skip that. Basically, it shows you what's down there, and it shows you if there are major threats. Ground distress signals displayed, the number of possible retreats your team will have during the expedition. Yep. Officer survival represents the chance of your leading officer has to return safely. Healthy officers have a chance to come back injured. Injured officers have a chance to die. An injured or dead officer will abort the mission, forcing the team to retreat to the ship without loot. The resource extraction meter represents the minimum and maximum percent of encountered resources, including artifacts, that your team will have a chance to bring back with them to your ship if the leading officer survives the expedition. And last but not least, the commando survival meter represents the chances your commandos have to return safely. Okay, we have 2 officers on deck, and we can actually choose which one will be the leader of the expedition. As you can see, they both have, well, similar rate of survival, but Gabai has a bonus to commando survival. It says that if we choose her, we will lose between 0 and 1 commandos, whereas if we choose Advic Oliveira, we will choose between 3 and 9. Now, I'm all about preserving my crew, so I'm going to choose G. Gabai as the expedition leader. Lieutenant Caliban's detected an artifact on this planet that could be helpful to our mission. We have a good idea of where it is, but we'll need you and a team of commandos on the ground to find and extract it. We'll have visuals, but space-to-ground communication will be minimal. We can't risk giving away the location of our battleship or exposing you to potential local threats. Only contact us when it's secure to do so, and I'll decide if an emergency retreat is necessary. Of course, any additional resources you encounter should be extracted too. This is a dangerous mission and some of our commandos could die in the field. Do your best to keep them safe. Now get going. A shuttle's waiting for you and the commandos. And good luck down there. Thank you, sir. In all essence, what this means is we have no control over the expedition once we've sent it down to the planet. It all plays out automatically. Okay, we got 2 successes. We got 3 successes. Engineering, yeah. Engineering again, we're good. Alright, and we found the planetary defense turret wreckage. But we actually failed. Excuse me. We have... yeah, as you could have seen, we had some green passes. It was skill checks, and a red fail, unfortunately, at the worst possible moment at the planetary defense turret wreckage, because our leader, as you can see, she's got the skills in scientist, she's got hacking, and she's got, I can't, yeah, the menu's kind of hiding for me, but you can see the bottom row over here. Because we have these skills, we encountered these skills on the planet. Because Gigabyte is proficient in these skills, we had success, we picked up loot. However, we failed at the planetary defense wreckage. Too bad. Let's continue with the mission. Now, we can order them, the expedition, to come back, or we can tell them to press on. And I think we're going to actually have them press on to find some more stuff that they can bring back. Whoops. Just took casualties. Alright, we're at the extraction point. That's the end of the mission. We are going to extract them aboard the Excelsior. And to be honest, not a bad haul. I mean, we have 122 scrap, but unfortunately we did not pick up that defense turret, which is a bummer. But hey, the star map button opens the current sector star map where you can choose your next destination system. But that awaits us in episode 2 of the Let's Play, guys. That's it for today. We had the intro, we had the introduction to the initial mechanics of the game, and we will press forth very soon. I want to thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment, subscribe, and yeah, good luck, have fun. I'll talk to you soon in the second part of the Let's Play. Bartek, out.